here amongst the wonderful devotees of Iskcon ICC Bangalore, South Bangalore. And I am very grateful to the ICC management for inviting me. And you will have to bear with me for 3 days. Today, tomorrow, and day after. So the subject matter that we will be speaking on, we will sing one song every day, different song of the Vaishnava Acharyas, and we will try to expound it. So may the words that emanate from my mouth be pleasing to all the assembled Vaishnavas, unto His divine Ishta Prabhupada, and all our Gaudiya Acharyas. So we will start today with one beautiful song composed by Satchitananda Dasa. You can take your smartphones and you can use these following keywords, or some of you may already know it. A bar, EAI, bar, BAR, Karuna, KARUNA, Karun, and space KK songs. KK songs. Found it? Let me know. Did you all find it? Everybody? A bar Karuna space KK songs. A bar Karuna Vaishnava Gosla Prema Karuna Vaishnava Gosla जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजय अष्टोत्तर शत श्री श्रीमद His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada की ब्रह्म मध्व गौड़ीय संप्रदाय आचार्य गुरुवर की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की नाम आचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गौ गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की श्री वृंदावन धाम की मायापुर नवदीप धाम की वियोगिनी राधा क्षेत्र पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की गंगा माई की जमुना माई की तुलसी देवी की भक्ति देवी की समावेत गौर भक्त वृंद की all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Sri Sri Guru Ho and Gauranga. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manoyavishtam Sthapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadameyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuga Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sarva Raghunathanvitam तं सजीवं साधद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेव श्रीराधा कृष्णपादा सर्वललिता श्री विशाखा विदांश्च आराध्यो भगवान् व्रजेशतनयस् तद्धाम वृन्दावनम् रम्या काचेत् उपासना व्रजवधुवर्गेण तया कल्पिता श्रीमद्भागवतं पुराणमलं प्रेम पुमार्थो महान् श्रीचैतन्य महाप्रभुर्मतैदम् नायत्रया ग्रह परः नवनीरदनिन्दित कान्तिधरं रससागर नागर धूपवरं शुभवं किमचारु श्रीखण्ड शिखिं भज कृष्णानिधिं व्रजराजसुतं भज कृष्णानिधिं व्रजराजसुतं राधिका सरोदेन्दु निन्दिमुख मण्डली वन्द्ये श्रीपादपद्म वृषभानु नन्दिनी वन्दे श्रीपादपद्म वृषभानु नन्दिनी वन्दे श्रीपादपद्म वृषभानु नन्दिनी जगन्नाथ स्वामी नयन पथगामी भवतु मे कदाचित् कालिन्दी तट विपिन संगीतरवो मुदाभिरिनारी कमल स्वाद मधुप रमाम्बु गणेश अर्चि जगन्नाथ स्वामी नयन पथगामी भवतु मे आजानुलंबितो भुजो कनकायवधातो संकीर्तने पितरवो कमलायताक्षो विश्वम्भरो द्विजवरो युगधर्मपालो वन्दे जगत प्रियकरो करुणा अवतारो पतित श्री श्रीराम भगवत प्रसादो यस्य प्रसादात् न गति कुतोऽपि दयांस्तुवां यस्य त्रिसन्ध्यां वन्दे गुरुः श्रीचरणारविन्दम् वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। So my obeisances unto all the assembled Vaishnavas, offline and online, hundreds and thousands of followers, and our Gaudiya Guruvar. May all the words that emanate from my mouth be pleasing to all the assembled Vaishnavas and also to our Gaudiya Guruvar. So I seek your blessings. Hare Krishna. So, one of the most important things in our sadhana as Vaidhi bhaktas, and even later on, when we are fortunate to enter Raganuga Bhakti, the songs of the Vaishnava Acharyas in our Gaudiya line are extremely important. When we or bowing down to his divine graces, what are we actually reciting besides the pranam mantra? The mood of prayers is very important. Srila Prabhupada yesterday, Sunday at Shishadipuram, Iskcon, in Srimad Bhagavatam, there was first canto, 7th chapter, verse number 26. Srila Prabhupada mentions in the very short purport that Arjun actually is very afraid because Ashwadhama, while chasing Ashwadhama, after Ashwadhama had brutally killed the sons, the 5 sons of Draupadi, Ashwadhama ran away after that heinous crime, and Arjun promised that he will take full revenge and he will cut the head of Ashwadhama and bring it to Draupadi, and then he will wipe her tears. And so he decided to chase the running Ashwadhama, who mounted his chariot, and with full speed he fled. Maybe we can close those doors. Is it possible? Or even the windows are open, sir? Thank you. And I would appreciate it if you all can check your phones. Thank you so much, Prabhu. So he fled in full speed, but Arjun was chasing him. And when Arjun was chasing, Arjun was very fast, and the horses of Ashwadhama's chariot were very tired. And Arjun was almost going to catch up. And at that time, Ashwadhama had a benediction that he had received the Brahmastra. So what he did is he invoked the Brahmastra. And the moment he invoked it, it is a nuclear weapon, Srila Prabhupada mentioned. Very subtle nuclear weapon. Nowadays, these nuclear weapons are gross. It has a combination of many radioactive elements like enriched uranium, etc., plutonium. And when the atomic structure of an atom is broken, a lot of heat and light is generated because the Paramatma is forced out of it. If you all who have studied science, even in school we studied, the structure of the atom is the nucleus, protons and electrons. And the revolution is at extremely high speed of those electrons and protons. So within the nucleus resides Paramatma. That verse is there to support in Brahma Samhita, Anda Anucha Yantarvasta. In every atom, he is present, the Lord as the Paramatma feature. So when the Lord is forced out due to the demoniac action of breaking the structure of the atom, just like I like to give this example, if some gundas or some hooligans come into our home and they force us out, they push us out, we will have a lot of aggression in us, right? So similarly, the Lord is being pushed out of his house. Nobody can do that, but that attempt is so intense. So the Lord actually sanctions it, but he's not very happy. And when he leaves his own home in the atom, a lot of heat and light and the nuclear reaction takes place. And therefore, the atom bomb or the nuclear bomb has got intense energy and destructive power. So when that happened, Arjun was so scared and he immediately called out to Krishna so that Krishna can protect. And here Srila Prabhupada says that Arjun offered wonderful prayers. Arjun offered wonderful prayers to Krishna. And Prabhupada mentions very nice thing. That when before any presentation to Krishna, these are his words, I recollect. Before any presentation to Krishna, we should offer wonderful prayers. So sometimes we have many desires, either material or transcendental. But before asking for that, His Divine Grace Prabhupada says we should offer prayers. And that is exactly the point here is that what are we, if we examine ourselves when we are in front of our Srila Prabhupada or other Acharyas, when we bow down, the Pranam Mantra we sometimes or mostly we speak it or narrate or recite it very mechanically. And but offering some wonderful prayers, and honestly, we are like little children. We do not know even how to pray properly. Even in front of the deities. What is our mood besides just taking darshan with our eyes? It is good. It is also transcendental. But when we offer our Acharyas prayers, and how do we offer them? We offer them just like we offer the Ganges water when we are worshipping the Ganges. We offer its own water to the Ganga or the Jamuna or to any of the holy rivers. So similarly, our offerings should be of that type that we offer such prayers. And we can offer the same prayers that they have composed to them. Because they are not ordinary personalities. Before I even kind of go into the bhajan, I would like to lay a foundation. And that is why in our Mangalarti, it is mentioned in the second verse, Mahaprabhu Kirtan Nitya Gita Vaditra Madhyan Manasur Sena. But the first line, Mahaprabhu Kirtan Nitya Gita. In the bhajan by Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur, in the book called Sharanagati, in the fifth section of Sharanagati known as Shri Shri Radha Vinod Ji ki Jai, Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Devi ki Jai, Shri Shri Patita Pavan Nitai Gaur Sundar ki Jai, all their lordships ki Jai, Tulsi Devi ki Jai, Gaur Premanande. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, which is commonly also known as in our Gaudiya Sampradaya, the Ekadashi Bhajan, Shuddha Bhakata Charanarenu Bhajane Anukula. In that, this bhajan, there's a very specific line that kind of connects to this subject matter. Gaura Vihita Kirtana Suni Hridaya Ananda Nache. So we should all hear bhajans and kirtans or sing those that are approved by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or that gives pleasure to Mahaprabhu. And Mahaprabhu means his most intimate associates are included. Like Prabhupada has mentioned, Srila Prabhupada has mentioned many a time that when we say Krishna, it means it is just like the president or prime minister. If he's traveling somewhere or going somewhere, it means all his intimate associates, his ministers, his advisors, his security personnel, they're all present. So Krishna is never alone. Similarly, Mahaprabhu is never alone. So here the theme is that we should sing those Vaishnava kirtans and bhajans that are approved. And that is why in Iskcon, we only sing those. Many Vaishnava Sampradayas are there. They are bona fide in their own respective ways. But why is it that we do not sing those songs. For example, Mirabai, she is also considered a pure devotee. Many, many years ago, I used to sing about maybe 25 years ago some Mira bhajans, in home programs and stuff. But then after I kind of, by the mercy of Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga, really understood our Gaudiya Bhav, that whose phone is crying? Please put it on silent. Hari Naam, Hari Roop, Hari Katha, Hari Dham, they are not different. Nama Chintamani Sri Krishna Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha Purna Shuddho Nitya Mukto Abhinnatvam Namna Namina. So we should respect that. Unless and until we do not show that other or that great respect to Mrs. Krishna, Jagannath, Gaur Nitai, the katha that is being spoken is non-different. It is Sri Krishna. Bhagavad Gita is Sri Krishna. Bhagavatam is Sri Krishna. Vaishnava Acharyas bhajans are Sri Krishna, non-different. So kindly keep that in mind. Almost 5-10 minutes I have to spend on every temple. In North America also, 95%, 98% are Indian body devotees. And it's so unfortunate that they let their children loose in the aisles, play. They sit in the back and talk when nice kirtan is for the pleasure of Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gaur Nitai or the deities is performed. Sanatana Dharma has so many wonderful qualities, but unfortunately, it has degraded so much even before 428,000 years to elapse. I don't know what will happen after that. But what will happen in the next 20, 30 years also, it is going to be an eye-opener if we do not properly respect our dharma. Others are laughing on us. They say Hindus are sentimental idiots. They don't know anything about their own faith. And that is why His Divine Krishna Prabhupada, one of the 7 principles or the foundation or the fundamentals of Iskcon is to systematically preach and propagate Krishna consciousness. And Iskcon is the only temple in the entire creation that is preaching so nicely. There are so many other institutions, but not as much as Iskcon is doing. And we are getting this education free. If you have to put your children in some nice private schools, it costs a lot of money. When they grow up, they go to some nice colleges, you have to pay a lot of money. And then further education, they go to the Western countries like US. It costs lakhs, crores of rupees. But here, such a biggest science, Vigyan, is being given freely. Sometimes we don't value it. So we should show that respect. Otherwise, history will repeat. 20, 30 years down the road, our children, the Hinduism will become, or Sanatana Dharma will become very, very minute. And the other faiths will take over. And then they will forcefully convert, like what happened when the Mughals came. They desecrated our temples, they broke our deities. They put a scale in the temple like we have the Tuldan that we do for Bhagavad Gita. They put the Khandita deities, the broken lotus arms, legs, Vakshasthal. On one side of the scale, on the other side they brought in mutton, gomas, and they put it right there in the temple hall. They urinated in our temples. They cut the shikas of all the Brahmins and Vaishnavas. And they all forcefully converted by beating them into accepting Islam. Few hundred years later came the British. and they broke the backbone of our Sanatana Dharma, which is they knew that it is very difficult for them to take over India if on the strength of Sanatana Dharma they will remain united. So they found out what is the best way to kill India or that spirit in the Indians is to break Sanatana Dharma. And they did it very successfully. I still remember when I was educated, although grown up in a very, very medium class family, my parents, they really had to struggle for everything, but they put us, meaning me and my siblings, in some of the best schools. They were convent schools. And at that time, there was no ICSE. It came later on in my last 2 years, but prior to that, it was ISC. Very, very special school. Our English papers used to come from Oxford, England, and they used to go there for correction. And all our administrators, principal, vice principal, etc., they were from Spain. The fathers were Westerners. And the books that we studied on history, geography, they were all written by English historians. And they distorted our Indian history. They said in that, I still remember very clearly, distinctly, Ramayana and Mahabharata is mythology. In Latin, myth means imagination. So, this Ramayana, Mahabharata, and today also that is being taught by the school boards. They have not changed it. Even the TV reporters, I heard when during Jagannath Rath Yatra, the English commentator said that the mythological Lord Jagannath, see, so much degradation. That's why Srila Prabhupada gave us this education. So many times. I was always interested in philosophy right from my childhood. And I read different faiths, different books, Christianity, Islam, Buddhism, different. And they were all in English. But when I got my first Srila Prabhupada's book, I was shocked to hear this statement, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Nobody had ever written something like that. Person, just like you and I are persons. Those are very unfortunate who have this Mayavad kind of mentality that I am God, you are God, we are all God. Aham Brahmasmi, Soham, Satchitananda Rupam, Shivoham, Shivoham. That is their philosophy. But the Vaishnavas say that we are all eternal servants of Krishna here also, and when we reach the eternal sky, into the various different Vaikuntha planets or Golok Vrindavan. This does not sound as appealing to those who say that you are God, you are God, you are God, you are God, you are God. That sounds more appealing. That's why the cheap stuff sells faster. And the most expensive stuff, only the few can afford. And therefore, we are so fortunate that we have somehow or the other, due to our maybe past Sukruti or karma, we have come to this Gaudiya Vaishnava line. And as I was saying, in this Gaudiya Vaishnava line, that in the Vaishnava line, there are many bona fide sampradayas. But if we are very pakka, perfect Gaudiya Vaishnavas in the line of Mahaprabhu, we only sing those bhajans and kirtans and prayers that are composed by our Vaishnava Acharyas in that line. Or prayers that are exactly in the mood of the Gaudiya line. So we accept the prayers as an example of King Kulashekar in Mukunda Mala Stotra, the Alwa from Dakshin Bharat. That is perfect. And there are some other Vaishnavas who may not be in the Gaudiya line, but their thought process, their Siddhanta is exactly what the Rupanugas have accepted. So, Mirabai is perfect in her own way, but her bhav is mere to girdhar Gopal duja na koi, dusra na. So, in that line alone, many times we find that it is apasiddhanta when it comes to the Gaudiya Siddhanta. Most of us in Iskcon, when I go to many, many temples all over the world and ask this question, and which I will kind of open it up, it is not a test, my dear devotees. Just a genuine attempt to answer this question is good enough. Just like I give the example that when a little child is just learning to run or not run, to walk, and the child falls down many times, but in the process of seeing the child trying to walk, the parents are very happy. Look, 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 our child has almost started walking. That great feeling is there. Similarly, uh, when we make a genuine attempt, right or wrong, doesn't matter. Krishna looks at that. So my question is, what is our ultimate goal of Gaudiya Vaishnavism? And please, there might be more than one answer. I'm very happy to hear from you all. Please raise your hands. And again, don't feel shy or don't feel that, this is some kind of a test or there will be any criticism from any quarter. Just like I always say, when I'm kind of, highlighting this point, that when we are standing outside some college and there is some students going in and out, we catch one student and we ask him, my dear student, what are you studying? So immediately he will say, I'm studying chemical engineering. Another student you catch, immediately he will say, I'm studying mechanical engineering, etc. He knows what subject he is studying, although he is not fully graduated. So similarly, what is our subject matter or the ultimate goal, which is also known as prayojan in our Gaudiya line? Any devotees would like to simply, maybe just one line answer, nothing very complicated, and loudly please, because I may not be able to hear you. Yes, Maji? Loudly? Very nice. I really like that answer, to get the mood of the Acharyas. Now, from that answer, the second question arises. What is the mood of our Acharyas? Yes, Prabhuji? Okay, that is one of them. That's also a good answer. Acceptable. But I want to hear more. Yes, Prabhuji? Huh?
So Krishna is the mood of Srimati Radharani.
No, that's wrong. You almost said it correctly. That we cannot get the mood of Radharani. Not possible. Not possible. Radharani, by the way, since you brought it up, Shantras, Dasyaras, Sakyaras, Vatsalyaras and Madhuryaras. So Madhuryaras, yes. But in Madhuryaras, all the gopis and the manjaris of Vrindavan, they can get that prema in Madhurya Rasa, and there are many delineations of that prema. There is pranaya, mana, different types of delineation, bhav, anubhav, mahabhav, etc. There and in between there is many. Because of the time constraint, I will not speak on those. But the highest one can get in Raj is Mahabhav in the Gopi mood, and that too in the Swapaksha Gopi mood. Gopis are also of four types: Swapaksha, Vipaksha, Surut, and the fourth one is Tathastha. There are four general categories of gopis in Vrindavan. So all the gopis that are in Srimati Radharani's camp and who serve Srimati Radharani like her own self with body, mind, words, everything is known as Swapaksha Gopi, Radharani's own Gopi. So coming back to the example of Mirabai, she's not Swapaksha. Swapaksha means opposite camp. And other examples are Chandravali, Shailya, Padma. They keep Krishna away from Srimati Radharani. So they are Vipaksha, opposite camp. And the other two camps are almost similar. Surud and Surud means well-wishers to both the sides, and Tathastha means neutral, neutral to both the camps. And one of the examples of such a gopi is Yamuna Devi, the river Yamuna, Yamune Maharani. So she is neutral to both the camps. Anyways, so the question here is that what is the mood of our Acharyas? Yes, Prabhuji?
Since Srimati Radharani, we had suggested Krishna.
Very nice. Getting much, much better. The answers are getting condensed. Just like all the answers are good, milk is good. Slow flame, you put it, then it becomes thicker. And then it becomes more thicker, like rabdi, the milk. And then even more thicker comes, I'm waiting for that answer, that becomes like barfi. Yes, Prabhuji? Serving in the mood of separation. Very nice. That is also acceptable, Prabhuji. So these are all excellent answers, but there's still one final answer. That yes, Prabhuji? Very nice. So who is that Gopi Bhartu? Huh? Loudly. It's difficult to hear because it's a big hall. Who is Gopi Bhartu?
Vrindavan. Vrindavan.
Vrindavan Krishna. Very nice. But also the inner meaning, which is now I'm going to, we have already tasted milk from many, many different quarters here. Then we tasted some kheer, more condensed milk. Then we tasted some brabdi. And now let's try to taste some barfi, khoya, mawa. So that Gopi Bhartu means, from that perspective, is the Manjari Bhava. Das anudasi, dasi anudasi, dasi anudasi. That is what it is. And Radha Dasyam is the ultimate goal of Gaudiya Vaishnavas. Krishna comes second. But in Vaidhi Bhakti, it's all right. We are there. Any mood we can serve initially in Vaidhi Bhakti, even Laddu Gopal, etc. But there should come a point exclusively. It is Radha and Krishna in Madhurya Rasa. That is Raganuga Bhakti that our Srila Prabhupada is waiting to give us. If we perform our Vaidhi Bhakti perfectly, then the doors will open. Chakshudan dilo jai janme janme Prabhu sei divya gyan hriday prakashit. So our Rup Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, the six Goswamis, the entire our Gaudiya line is just waiting for us to receive that Raganuga Bhakti. Very important. See, His Divine Vishnu Prabhupada said that if you chant minimum how many rounds? How many? Wrong. Minimum 16 good rounds. The part we miss is 16 good rounds. And you follow the four regulative principles, you will go home back to Godhead in this very lifetime. He did not say go. We have to be Prabhupada's words are Guru Mukha Padma Vakya. Our Acharyas, whatever they speak, yes, we can go to Golok. Unless and until we do not enter Raganuga Bhakti, we will not be able to enter Golok. And Raganuga Bhakti is possible after perfect following the rules and regulations of Vaidhi Bhakti, and then it will happen. It is not that Raganuga Bhakti, we will have classes on that, like Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhav, Bhakti Vedanta. There are no classes. It will just happen when the special Kripa we will be able to catch. Kripa is always there. Sometimes devotees say, that, please give me kripa. No, kripa of the Acharyas is always there. Like Prabhupada said, that it is exactly like the sunshine or the sunlight or the sun. It equally distributes everywhere on the land, on the seas, on the lakes, on the rivers, everywhere, on the valleys. But what can the sun do if somebody doesn't want to come out of the dark room? Similarly, the Acharyas kripa is always there. But what to do if we do not want to accept it? Like supposing simple example, if I'm thirsty, you give me a glass of water. But what if I don't extend my hand and catch it? Water is there, but I'm not able to catch it or I'm not willing to catch it. So, Radha Dasyam is the ultimate. And this is on an informational level. Not that after this class, either I have become a Raganuga Bhakta or you all will become a Raganuga. No. That's why Srila Prabhupada said meticulously study Bhagavad Gita. After that, study Srimad Bhagavatam first 9 cantos. Then enter into the 10th canto. Then we will be able to really understand 10th canto properly. And especially hearing from Varishta Vaishnavas. Serving Srimad Bhagavatam means serving those Vaishnavas who have realized Srimad Nigama Kalpataro Galitam Phalam Shukhamukat Dravamrutam Samyatam Pipata Bhagavatam Rasamana Muhuraho Rasika Bhuvi Bhavaka. So Srimad Bhagavatam should be heard from Rasik Vaishnavas. Even though they are liberated, they relish Srimad Bhagavatam. And when we are, and who is the highest Rasik Bhakta for us is Divine Guru Srila Prabhupada. So hearing Srimad Bhagavatam or reading his books is not different. So one time Yamuna Devi, Srila Prabhupada's leading disciple who has sung Govindam Adi Purusham. We sing it, we hear it every day, the recording in Darshanarti. She asked Srila Prabhupada, after you leave, we have heard that we have to take Raganuga Bhakti at some point after Vaidhi Bhakti, and that too, Raganuga Bhakti should be in the footsteps of Vrajvasi. Srila Rabindranath Das Goswami has also mentioned in his book Manasiksha that one has to follow in the footsteps of a Vrajvasi to obtain a certain mood of Vraj. So Prabhupada, what will happen after you leave? Prabhupada said, you have my books and I am that Vrajvasi. So we do not see Prabhupada as that Vrajvasi. We have to get into that mood. That way, it will be important. As a very simple example. Hare Krishna. If a friend, let's say the Prime Minister, or very big position, Prime Minister, he has his personal friends from many, many years, maybe from his school days also. But if that friend sees him as Prime Minister, then there is that Aishwarya Bhava. But if he sees him as his best friend from school, where they used to play cricket or share their lunch, then that is sweetness, that is closeness. So similarly, our drishti or our at some point in our spiritual journey, we have to recognize that Srila Prabhupada is so great. Actually, all our Acharyas, they are very young gopis known as Manjaris. How many have heard the term Manjaris? Please raise your hands. Thank you. Very nice. So we see the on a tulsi plant also, we find the leaves are like gopis. And the little Manjaris are little gopis. And they have a very special seva. That even the gopis like Lalita and Vishaka, who are known as they are known as no, one second. It came to my mind. They are known as Priya Narmasakis. They are known as Priya Narmasakis. Very close to Srimati Radharani. But the younger gopis, they are about anywhere from 11 to 13 years old, their age group. And they're very innocent in nature. And they're also known as kinkaris. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has sung in the song, Gopina Mamani Vedana Suno. In that song he says, Tomara Kinkaro Yami. Does anybody remember that? Those words? Tomar Kinkar. What does Kinkar mean? Kim means what, and Kara means do. They are continuously absorbed in seva and doing. Once seva is not yet finished, and immediately they will ask, Oh Lalite, what can I do next? Oh Vishakhe, what can I do next? That is why this verse, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, in the 6th verse of Mangalarti, Nikunjayuno Rati Keli Siddhya, Yaya Alivir Yuktir Apekshaniya, Tatra Ati Dakshat Ati Vallabhasya Vande Guru Shri Charana. By the way, about a month ago, I was in GEV and I gave 11 session seminar on the Gurvashtakam. So there are external components that Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur as a sadhak or instruction to sadhak has been expressed through this Gurvashtakam, or commonly known as Samsara Davanal prayers. And there is the internal mood, which is the Manjari. And he says, these Manjaris are so expert in Nikunja Rati Keli. Rati means the amorous pastimes. They have perfectly understood the pastimes, the amorous pastimes of Radha and Krishna. Siddhyai, perfectly means perfection. Siddhi means perfection. Completely understood. And that is why Mahaprabhu also recommends those devotees in that same song, Shuddha Bhakata Charana Renu. Mahaprabhu recommends that Gaur Amar Jai Shavsthane Karana Brahmana Range Shai Sthan Heribhavami Pranay Bhakata Sange. So what is Pranay? Pranay Bhakti means one who is the Raganuga Bhakta, or at least he knows what Raganuga Bhakti is. And once one knows what Raganuga, that means one will understand the amorous pastimes of Radha and Krishna in Madhuri Leela. So we should go with such devotees to the different places of pilgrimage where Mahaprabhu went, with under the guidance of such devotees. Not some guide. When you go to Vrindavan, some driver will take a taxi, pay 2,000 rupees, and we will go to Barsana, Govardhan, Nandagram, and he will simply point out, or even some neophyte devotee who is living in Vrindavan Dham, but not necessary. He understands the amorous pastimes or the esoteric nature. So we should, if we are fortunate, we should hear from devotees like them when they are speaking about the different bhajan sthalis, or the wherever Mahaprabhu went or Krishna went and performed his pastimes. As an example, in Mayapur, Navadvip, or in Vrindavan or Vrajdhan. So here, Nikunja Rati Keli Siddhya. And Yaya Alivir. Alivir means the Varishta Gopis, like Lalita, Vishaka, and Ashtasakis, the Swapaksha Gopis. They are simply looking at them. What else can I do? I finished this seva, non-stop seva. Seva, in our, sometimes we find in our experience in the temples, there are 3 types of devotees. One is that he is told that do this seva, is done. I'm only concerned with my seva. So it is like that. I give this example that there was one big, very owner of a big bungalow, and he had a nice garden. So he wanted to plant some plants. So he engaged 3 gardeners. The first one was told, you dig. The second one was told, you plant a seed inside it. Okay, and the third one was told, you cover it with the earth, with the mud. So the center one, the middle one, had to go for the call of nature. So now you can figure out what happened. The first one is digging, and the third one is simply closing. So some of us are very rigid in that kind of Just this is my seva I've been told. But sometimes we find that something is there, like a piece of paper is on the temple grounds or in the temple, or maybe there is so much rush at prasadam, and there are not enough devotees to serve. Then oh, it is not my seva to serve prasadam. So my seva I did, I'm finished. So that is one kind, which is also okay. Second kind of devotee is that he's told to do something, but he will never do it. Which is the worst. And the third is that kind of without having any telling, he will do seva. Without telling. So that is the mood of the Manjaris. Yaya alivir yuktir, or yukti means yukta, to engage me in Radha Krishna service, especially in the Nikunja seva, which is very, very confidential. And during Nikunja Seva, the gopis also, meaning Lalita, Vishaka, etc., they go out of the bower or the Nikunja. Then who has to serve? Those Manjaris are sent in to serve Radha and Krishna. Because there is a need. Sometimes the mood is of Man. Man is a very, very high level of prem that Srimati Radharani and her associates, they express. Sulkiness, anger, transcendental anger. Krishna is supposed to meet 2 hours ago and he's not there, and they are decorated nicely with flowers and so many things, and he's not there. So Radharani goes into Man. We have Man Mandir, in Barsana. How did that happen? Anybody knows that pastime very quickly in 1 or 2 lines? Why did Radharani get upset? So that upsetness is called Man. Like we say even in Hindi. How many of you all speak Hindi? So Man means because out of respect, you're not treating me well. I don't want to see you. But this is transcendental nature. Very transcendental. Most devotees will not understand why Radharani goes into Man. So in Mangad, in Varsana, when Krishna came, he was late also. Krishna is always late when it comes to Srimati Radharani. So first she gets upset. And the next part of this is Krishna always tries to pacify Radharani by speaking very sweet words. Until she is pacified, Krishna has to be very subservient. Like, what does Jayadeva Goswami say? Dehi Pad Pallavam. Please, Radharani, place your lotus feet on my head. I'm very sorry. Please accept my apologies. That is Gaudiya Bhav. So he has to convince her. Wipe her tears. Nice, very sweet words. Joke so much that ultimately Radharani cannot but must smile and laugh. She comes out of the sulkiness or the angry mood. So this angry mood is something that is basically an extremely high mood that causes, whenever the happiness or the union happens, the meeting, the sulkiness or the unhappiness or the transcendental anger can come when Krishna is not there. He's supposed to come and, perform his pastimes with them, with the Swapaksha Gopis and Srimati Radharani. So immediately after some time that anger comes in, transcendental anger. So when eventually the meeting happens, which is known as Milan, then after some time, there is such sweet happiness that never has been expressed or never been experienced before, which is actually the word that Mahaprabhu uses, Ananda Ambudhi Vardhana. The normal meaning is always there, but an Ananda Ambudhi Vardhana means when Radha and Krishna meet, and when that sulkiness or the transcendental anger is finished, just like has to pacify the wife. Wife is extremely upset. Oh, I don't want to talk to you. Go there. Go to the other room. That happens. Happens to me. Right? Where are you? I've been calling 15 times. And then she hangs up. Then if I don't call back, she will call again. Why did you hang up the phone? Arre Baba, I did not hang up. You hung up in anger. So these are the symptoms of that anger. And that is why Srimati Radharani in the Brahmar Geet, the talking with the bee, that is a lot of separation. So always in separation, always thinking of Krishna. And there are many types of separation. Separation is when there is even Radharani, and just because now the time is up, she has to go back to Yavat, to her home. Krishna has to go back to Nangram. Both are feeling that separation. In a few more minutes or a few, we will be separated. So that kind of separation is also very, very deep, very, very. That is. Though there are all different names of the kind of separation. So here we find that our Acharyas are expert, first of all, in the seva, Daksha and Ati Vallabh. That is why they are very, very dear to Radha and Krishna, especially Srimati Radharani. Nikunja, Rati Keli Siddhe, Yaya Alibir, Yukti Rapeja. They are always asking the Ashtasakhis or the Vipaksha, the Sopaksha Gopis, what else can I do? Please tell me. So they are like little girls. So Lalita said, okay, or Rupmanjini, she is the most prominent out of them. Okay, go. We'll tap her on the cheek. Go, quickly get some flowers, some nice fresh flowers. One Manjini will be asked to go, okay, go get some nice hot milk. So our Narottam Das Thakur has composed this bhajan, is none other than Champaklata Manjari, and his eternal seva is to make some nice milk for Radha Krishna. With some nice dry fruits, with some nice saffron, especially in the winter, some hot ingredients are put in that milk. Amongst so many other sevas, this is the specialty. So, somebody asked Prabhupada, who are you in Radha Krishna's Nitya Leela? Prabhupada said, if I tell you, you will faint. But we know that his Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur is Nayana Manjari. Srila Gaur Kishore Babaji Maharaj is Guna Manjari. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is Kamla Manjari. Srila Jagannath Babaji Maharaj is Rasik Manjari. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti, Baldev Vidya Vishwanath, I don't recollect who he is, but he is also Manjari. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is Vinod Manjari. And I just mentioned that Srila Narottam Das Thakur is Champaklata Manjari. Like that, Swami is Vilas Manjari. Srila Gopal Bhatta Goswami is Guna Manjari. Srila Raghunath Bhatta Goswami is Rasa Manjari. Srila Raghunath Das Goswami is Tulami is Rupa Manjari. And Srila Sanatana Goswami is Labhanga Manjari. So they have the highest and the most intimate seva, which even the Varishta Gopis cannot do. So when they go in the Nikunja, they serve. Nikunja, Rati Keli Siddhe, Yaya, Libir, Yukti Rape, Tatrati, Daksha, they are so expert. And therefore they are very dear, Ati Vallabhasya. And here the dearness first comes to Srimati Radharani, most dear to Radharani. And because they are dear to Radharani, they are dear to Krishna. And that is why in the 5th verse in the Mangalarti, Sri Radhika Madhavya Rapara Madhurya Leela Guna Rupa Ramnam Prati Shanasva Dhanalolupasya Vande Guru Shri Chad. So what is, this is in the Manjari Vav, the internal mood of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur as Vinod Manjari, he is seeing this. That what these Manjaris are doing, he is junior Manjari in one sense. Of course, senior to our Prabhupada and Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, but junior to Rupa Goswami or Rupa Manjari, etc. So he is observing and seeing that when they come out of the Nikunj, they are surrounded by Lalita, Vishakha, Tunga Vidya, Chitra, Sudevi, Rangadevi, etc. And please tell us what happened inside. She was so upset. How did Krishna pacify her? So one Manjari was present to say, you know what Krishna did? First he did is, he wiped her tears. Then he said sorry. Then the other Manjari will say, no, 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 he didn't just say sorry. But he said sorry so many times and he fell at her feet. So that is the details. Sri Radhika Madhavir Apar. Madhura Lila, the amorous Guna Rupa Namnam, and how? Pratishan. The moment they're asked what happened, they are excited just like a little child. No, 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 no. You're missing this. You're missing this. This is what also happened. Like that, they are so excited. Pratishan. And they're relishing it. Aswadan. And Lolupasya with great greed. So even the Acharya or the Vaishnava, Varishta Vaishnava, when he is speaking Katha, whether Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charana, or any scriptures, anybody you see with great greed when one is speaking, that is the mood, Lolupasya, with a lot of greed. We should have, everybody has greed, Prabhupada says. But we have greed for money, we have greed for material things. Prabhupada says, simply total that greed towards Krishna consciousness. Swarup Goswami has mentioned, what is the price of pure? What is the price of pure bhakti? So Rupa Goswami has mentioned, and wherever you get it, you must purchase it right away. So everything has a price. Let's say this water bottle is 10 rupees, right? If you have to take a ticket, buy a ticket to America, maybe 1 lakh rupees. Everything has a price. What is the price of pure bhakti? He has said very nicely and amazingly, Lolyam, Ekam Mulyam Lolyam Api. Only greed for Krishna consciousness is the price to purchase pure bhakti. That's how we will obtain pure bhakti. The greed has to it. And how will that greed arise in us? When we study the Vaishnava Acharyas bhajans. When we will be able to pray nicely, even though it may be mechanically or just like children simply repeating after their parents, one day that bhav will come. What our acharyas are saying, it is their heart, and all the moods of the acharyas in their Vaishnava bhajans is pure scripture simplified. All the scriptures are given to us on a golden platter, but in a very, very simplified form. So Narottam Das Thakur in this bhajan is saying, he's praying perhaps to Loknath Goswami, who is none other than Manjulali Manjari, his guru. Ei bar karuna karo Vaishnava Gosai. This time, please have mercy on me. I've always been so fallen. So the first thing that a pure Vaishnava or a Uttam Vaishnava is always humble. The more humble the devotee, the more advanced that devotee is. So this time have mercy on me, oh my dear Acharya. Ei bar karuna karo Vaishnava Gosai. And here it also means Vaishnava Gosai is not only his own initially spiritual master, it also means all Seshadavas, all Shiksha brothers, God brothers. See, why I'm taking a little longer in this before entering the bhajan is so that we can all get into the mood. Very important, because there are so many wonderful instructions. In our Iskcon movement, glorious movement, there is some kind of a weakness that has seeped in. I'm being very honest. Sitting on the Vyasasana, it is my duty to speak. What is that weakness? Weakness is this. When I only do this, make a circle, I can only see Shyam Prakash Prabhu. I cannot see anybody else that is present in this temple hall. So our weak now Kaustubh Prabhu is very fast. He catches before I finish, he catches the essence. So here we find that supposing if we are initiated by a particular spiritual master, then we kind of enclose ourselves, only limit ourselves mostly to that group or to that initiating spiritual master. And that is not what our mood of the Gaudiya Acharyas is, honestly speaking. Let's take a quick example of another bhajan of Sri Narottam Das Thakur. And everybody knows this bhajan in Iskcon. We sing bhajans, we sing artis, but it would be nicer if we understand the mood of the Acharya and what is written. Do you all know when this bhajan was composed? Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu, Daya Karo More, Tuma Vina Ke Dayalu Jagat Samsari. Everybody knows this bhajan. It is called Swaparshada Janita Vila, in separation of the Vaishnava. And in particular, in the last line we find the indication, Ramachandra Sangamangi Narottam Das. So that Ramachandra is not Dashrath Nandan Ramachandra. It is Ramachandra Kaviraj, who happens to be his grand disciple. Srila Narottam Das Thakur had initiated Ganganarayan Chakravarti. Srila Ganganarayan Chakravarti's disciple was Ramchandra Kaviraj. And in his separation, he remembers all from Mahaprabhu, Nityanand Prabhu, Advaita Acharya, Sarup Damodar Goswami, Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, Jiva Goswami, Gopal Bhatta Goswami, Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Loknath Goswami. And then at the end is Daya Karo Sri Acharya Prabhu Srinivas, Ramchandra Sangamange, Bharatna. So Srinivas Acharya, Dukhi Krishna Das or Shyamanand Pandit, same personality, and Narottam Das Thakur, all three were initiated by different spiritual masters. Sri Narottam Das Thakur was initiated by Sri Loknath Goswami. Sri Shyamanand Pandit, Hriday Chaitanya Goswami. And Srinivas Acharya by Sri Gadadhar Pandit. Gopal Bhatta Goswami. All initiating spiritual masters separate. Now just see the mood of those exalted spiritual masters. Because they saw that their initiators were so amazing and taking their bhakti so seriously, they said, you go to Vrindavan, go to Seva Kunj and study more advanced subjects under Jiva Goswami. Just we find that even somebody is running a small bhakti vriksha, we have seen that weakness. We have heard it. Many devotees come and discuss with me in private that our leader is saying, you have to only listen to me, nobody else. And if you have to talk to somebody, you have to go through me. That is very Kanishta thinking. Very Kanishta. There are 9 kinds of Vaishnava, 3 categories, Kanishta, Madhyam and Uttam. So even within that 3 categories, 3 each, meaning 9. Kanishta, Madhyam, Kanishta, Uttam. Madhyam, Kanishta, Madhyam, Uttam. Uttam, Kanishta, Uttam, Madhyam and Uttam. And I like to give this example that nowadays in India, the girls, when they are trying to marry a boy, the first thing they sometimes ask is, do you have your own home? Then we will talk about it further. Sometimes they use such words that how much garbage do you have? I was shocked when I heard this from a person who just returned when I was in the Toronto area. He said, Uncle, I'm going to see some girls my parents have selected. And when he came back after 2 months, I got engaged. I said, okay, fine, congratulations. When is the wedding? After 1 year. But he said, Prabhu, I will tell you what kind of experiences I had. Even I could not understand. I went and saw a few girls. One girl asked me, how much garbage do you have in your home? I did not understand. When somebody explained garbage means you have father, mother, brother, sister, grandfather, grandmother, that is garbage. One girl said that how much baggage you have in your house. Same thing. So what she is saying, or her parents said to him, that if you have your own separate housing, then we can further, we like you, but if you don't have separate. So now what will happen in such cases? We find that it's predominant nowadays. Previously there used to be what we know as Sahakutumbam, where everybody was living, many uncles, many aunties, many elder cousins. When a new child is born, grandfather, grandmother, all staying under the same house. And when the new child is born, how much love that child gets from everyone. Not only from the own father and mother, also gets so much love from the aunties, the uncles, because they're all in the same house. from the cousins that were previously born and they're much older. So much love they get, grandfather, grandmother. But imagine when they separate from that house, husband, wife, they start their own flat, their own home. When the child is born, they only get, mainly the love is only from father-in-law. Maybe they go twice a year on some festival to their to see their grandparents, like on Diwali or something, like what is happening in the Western culture. This is exactly what has happened. Uh, Tomorrow is Christmas. So that's what happens. Only 2 days in a year, mostly the Americans, Thanksgiving, which is the third Thursday of November. That is Thanksgiving Day. I don't know who they thank. They thank each other for liquor, cutting the turkey. That is must. Millions and millions of turkey birds are slaughtered because in the previous days when the English came and they offered some things to the Red Indians, the Red Indians didn't have anything. They just simply caught a turkey, wild turkey, and exchanged gifts in to show their gratitude, thanksgiving. And they even continue to this day. Arey Baba, those Red Indians did not have anything else to give. They were always depending on meat. They did not have even proper vegetation to grow vegetables or fruits. So that was whatever the nature of the land was, right? They adapted to keep themselves. So that is even said in the Shastra. But what is the problem now? Huh? So every table in Thanksgiving, all the family gets together, far away they come. Many sons of the parents, they will come, sisters will come, brothers will come, they will sit on table, and then there will be a big turkey that they would have roasted, started making it since morning, and this is in the evening. A lot of work, and then they bring the big turkey on the table and they put several knives. And then before doing that, oh my dear Lord, my Father in heaven, we thank you. Blessed be thy name. Hmm? Thank you for this Thanksgiving. And then they will say, let's now take the turkey now. Thanksgiving. What nonsense, I tell you. And in the name of Thanksgiving, so many gifts are sold. There is no question of thinking of even if they are Christians or Catholics, Jesus. Same thing with Christmas. Christmas, and even now, Diwali in India has taken perfectly the shape of the Western culture. It is just a marketing gimmick so that more products will be sold. 50% off saris, 50% off shirts, 50% off whatever, X, Y, Z, A, B, C, D. Diwali sale, Diwali sale, Diwali sale. No question, nobody is thinking about the return of Lord Ramachandra and how they lit the entire Ayodhya city with lamps. How many of them are even discussing it with their children? That story. Maybe a very, 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 very small fraction of our society. But enjoy. Make lots of farsan, sweets. Don't even offer to Krishna. The sweet shops are all full. I'm talking about non-devotees. Those who are even so-called religious, pious people. That is Diwali. That is Christmas to the Christians. They don't even go to church on Christmas Day. All churches are empty. Some go on midnight mass. But most of them, they go to each other's house or they go to the bar to drink. Merry Christmas. And they talk about Santa Claus, which is an imaginary figure. It doesn't even exist. Did you all know that? It does not exist. This is something that the marketing people had started. If we put some Santa Claus and the children will be very happy. Today is known as Christmas Eve, 24th of December. So what they do is the parents tell them, make a list of what you want. So the child will make a list and put a chit under the Christmas tree. And the morning when they wake up, Santa sent this. And they ask, did Santa come down from our chimney? A lot of places they have fireplace. Yes, he came from the chimney. He parked his reindeer sledge on our roof and he came down. What nonsense! Even in imagination, they could not imagine properly. Santa is so fat, according to them, how he can come down through one chimney? No logic. And even in India, we go to this mall sometimes. Ha 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 ho 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 ho. Take a picture and you pay 500 rupees with Santa. In all the malls, they have one Santa sitting, and there's a long line, huge line. That is this Maya illusory world we are in. We love illusion. Actually, his name, according to them, it was the imaginary Saint Nicholas, who started this Santa Claus thing just to get people together or something like that. Maybe good intention, but imaginary figure completely. So, what was I saying prior to this Santa Claus nonsense? Sakutumba. That Sakutumba. So, that love is given. So, similarly, in this example that I gave, is if we become like that couple and separate ourselves and we only have, then we will not get the love of the Sakutumba that is Divine Krishna Prabhupada gave us. There are so many uncles, meaning Srila Prabhupada's disciples, besides our Diksha spiritual master. There are so many Varishta Vaishnavas. Because just see, let's be a little more logical. Let's say whoever our spiritual master is, they're always traveling, they're always busy. Even if you get to see your spiritual master, Diksha, spiritual master, for 1 minute, that is a great thing. 1 minute, and that too maybe once a year. In some places, it does not happen for 2 years, 3 years. Then where do we get our Siksha from? We get it from those Varishta Vaishnavas. Another thing I want to point out, that we very loosely use the word Siksha Guru. Siksha Guru is a very exalted position. Just like our gurus or our Acharyas. Our Bhagavad Parampara is predominantly Siksha. Diksha is important, but Siksha is very important. For example, who do we have on the altar? Gaur Kishore Babaji Maharaj's Siksha Guru is his Divine Grace Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakurji. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakurji's Siksha Guru is Srila Satchitananda Dasa Babaji Maharaj. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakurji had taken Diksha from a different personality, Srila Vipin Bihari Goswami. But we honor Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj because that's how that relationship was of Siksha. So similarly, Narottam Das Thakur went to Vrindavan and they all three were studying under Jiva Goswami, Srinivas Acharya and Shyamanand Pandit and himself, Narottam Das Thakur, such bonding. Although they were all initiated by, so they are Siksha. So that's why I always say, and this is very important, I have to bring this to everybody's attention. Right now, we still have Srila Prabhupada disciples who are on this planet. Slowly, they are disappearing. Next 10 years, 15 years, almost all will disappear. Then, how will this Iskcon continue nicely? They are actually, even there is some discrepancies within them, but at least they are disciples of Srila Prabhupada, direct disciples. When we, as second generation and also perhaps the third generation as they grow, when we have the role of leaders of Iskcon, and if we are looking at only Shyam Prakash Prabhu, like this, or Kaustubh Prabhu only, I only see him, right? Then what will happen? There will be clashes. There will be some debates. And it will be even more intense than what is happening now. And that is the reason we are all God brothers and all God sisters. We should never forget that. Because we are somehow related as Siksha. Just like Srinivas Acharya and Shyamanand Pandit. And therefore he remembers them in his prayers of Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daya. We all singing it, but we don't contemplate. And why is mentioning them? So much love. So much love even for Ramchandra Kaviraj, who happens to be his grand disciple, not his disciple. That should be our mood. And Siksha Guru, actually GBC should do something about it. Huh? Anybody leading Bhakti Vriksha or giving us guidance is our mentor or our counselor, not Siksha Guru. Siksha Guru is those Acharyas. For us, our Siksha Guru is not only the disciples of Srila Prabhupada, even if they are deviating in some way, then they are not our Siksha Gurus. I'm really sorry to say that. Some of them are not perfectly following. Honesty has to be there. So we have to be very careful about selecting our Siksha Gurus, those who are disciples of Srila Prabhupada, from whom we take Siksha and we will take the advantage, just like a Sahakutumbha. And then, of course, our Siksha Guru is none other than His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada and all our Acharyas in the line. So you and I, we cannot become Siksha Gurus. Not at least in the present stage. If somebody is addressed as Siksha Guru and if he's a leader and if he accepts it, it's a big offense. No, unknowingly they are doing it. Or sometimes knowingly, because everybody loves Pratishtha. When Srila Prabhupada was approached in San Francisco in 1967, when some of the hippies, when they approached and they liked what they heard from Prabhupada and they started chanting and everything, and they heard from Srila Prabhupada that my Guru Maharaj this, my Guru Maharaj that, and he's always said, Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivajagacharya Ashtottara Sri Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur Jagat Guru Prabhupada. He said, Prabhupada. So then they said, Swamiji, you are God. And Prabhupada would immediately reject that with anger. No, I am not God. I am representative of God. So similarly, if some neophyte devotee approaches us and says that you are my Siksha Guru, then it is the duty of that person not to accept that title. Because if you are Siksha Guru, then I have to put you on the altar along with the other great Siksha Gurus. This is not palatable. Lot of leaders don't like this when I say this. But just think about it, what I've just said. So we are teachers, mentors, counselors. Very loosely this term is being used in our Iskcon. Wherever I go, I find they say, Prabhuji, please meet my Siksha Guru. How long has this been Siksha Guru in the movement? 3 years. So what is the comparison between His Divine Grace and Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur and all the Acharyas? When we read their books, when we are reading Brahma Samhita, where we are getting the Siksha? We are getting it from Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur Prabhupada. He has translated and given his purports. Right or wrong? How many of you will agree with this explanation? Please be honest. I'm not going to take it against you. How many of you will agree that the definition of a Siksha Guru is not some ordinary persons that are just practicing Vaidhi Bhakti? How many agree? Thank you so much. So probably you don't agree. Huh? What is the confusion? And I'm trying to clarify that our Srila Prabhupada's books, maybe you came a little bit later, but we just don't, our Bhagavad Parampara is predominant in Siksha. I mentioned that even our own spiritual Diksha Gurus, we hardly get to say them 1 minute in 1 year, or sometimes once in 2 years. Then how do we get in Krishna consciousness?
Yeah.
Huh?
Can I ask one question?
Not right now. I will give you the opportunity. But if you can make a note in the heart. And Siksha Guru is very great. Gaur Krishna Maharaj's Siksha Guru is Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He's not ordinary struggling entity or not even thoroughly reading Prabhupada's books. No, that word Guru, very cautiously we must use. I'm really sorry if some of you have got a shock here this morning, but it is my duty to explain because that is what I have learned from the Varishta Vaishnavas. They are mentors, counselors, leaders, you can use all those words. but not the word Guru. Hmm. Guru is a very, very high position. So you have to be very careful. And maybe the neophyte devotee will say that, but we should not accept. We should immediately correct that. Many people approach me, Prabhuji, I like your instructions. I've joined your group online, and you are like my Siksha Guru. I said, no, I'm not Siksha Guru. I'm very happy that whatever I'm sharing, Krishna consciousness, you are liking. And I really sincerely feel from my heart that you advance. And our Varishta Vaishnavas bless you, and Srila Prabhupada and our Acharyas bless you. But please, next time, don't use the word that I'm your Siksha Guru. So that is the point. So therefore, through the examples, and were you there when I mentioned the last line of Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu, Daya Karo More, Tumavila Kira? Narottam Das Thakur said, Daya Karo Sri Acharya Prabhu Srinivas Ramachandra Sangamage Narottam Das. All were initiated by different spiritual masters. Not by the given Diksha by the same. You can look it up and perhaps you know Prabhuji. Yeah. So that is very important. That mindset, if we enclose ourselves just like this, then we are restricting ourselves. But when we look with open eyes, so many wonderful Vaishnavas are there from where we can derive Shiksha. And perhaps Shiksha Guru. So that is the principle. So Sri Krishna, in this bhajan, he's saying that Ei bar karuna karo Vaishnava sai patit pavan toma vina ke onai. Here it is meant not only to his spiritual master, but unto all the other spiritual masters. Like in Samsara Damal, Vande Guru Ho Sri Charanaravindam. Very important. Many I have heard, when I hear in the Mangal Aarti, some devotees pronounce Vande Guru Sri Charana. It is plural. That is another point to absorb. He is offering his obeisances unto all the Vaishnava Acharyas in the line of Rupa Goswami. Vande Guru Ho, plural. We also say Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Pada Guru OH at the end, plural, Bahuvachanam. It doesn't say Vandeham Guru. So these things we have to. So he is praying that Ei bar karuna karo Vaishnava Gosai. Please, my dear Vaishnava Gosais, please help me. I'm so fallen. This time at least, I'm taking birth again and again and again. Janme Janme Prabhu say again and again. But please, this time, what is that? The Vedanta Sutra? The second acronym or the second Athato Brahma Jigyasa. It is an incomplete sentence, just like a code. It's a sutra. Therefore, one must inquire. So what does that mean? Therefore, one must inquire. Because BJP won over Congress, we should inquire about that? No. Therefore, one must inquire, because I have got the human form of life, I must inquire about spirituality, Krishna consciousness. So therefore, Ei bar karuna karo Vaishnava toma patita pavana toma vina ke onai. This time, so many times I have got this opportunity even to get the human birth, but this time, please have mercy on me. Patita pavana toma vina ke onai. There is nobody as merciful as you. Isn't that the case of His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada? Can we compare any of our personal gurus, even my own guru, His Holiness Nitya Leela Pravesh Bhakti Charu Swami? If we try to put them in the same scale as His Divine, and I am not talking about Ritviks here. I want the first thing here. No. They are completely wrong when it comes to this fundamental principle of this Diksha initiation that they are conducting. But even our spiritual master whom we have taken Diksha, and if we sentimentally think that he is equal to Prabhupada, or some of them even fanatically think that they are greater to Prabhupada, then that is very, very dangerous situation. There is no comparison to His divine graces that are there on the altar to our own spiritual masters. Yes, of course, we have to respect them and give them all the honor as mentioned in the Shastra. But still, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has mentioned that you give every Vaishnava respect according to their position. But only those who recognize the position will be able to give that. Otherwise, it is said in Hindi, Andheri Nagri mein Kano Raja, Take ser Bhaji, Take ser Khaja. Maybe somebody can translate into Kannada or Telugu. Or I'll say it in English. In a very blind one, or a king who is very blind, in that town or in that kingdom, Take ser Bhaji. Bhaji means now I see on the cards, 10 rupees methi. There are so many vendors, vegetable vendors sending coriander leaves, 10 rupees, big bunch. We were shocked when we saw that. It's so expensive even in Vrindavan, that's where my base is. And in America, we pay like almost $1.50 for one small bunch. So that's like 125, 130 rupees. And this is 10 rupees. But, anyways, in a blind king's kingdom, that 10 rupee coriander leaves and the most expensive ghee items like khaja, they're same price. 10 rupees that, and the khaja should be maybe 1,000 rupees kilo, 2,000 rupees kilo in pure ghee. So, Prabhupada consciousness, in KR Puram I gave a 2.5-hour katha on Prabhupada consciousness. They had selected the topic. Prabhupada consciousness in Krishna consciousness. So, एक बार करुणा करो वैष्णव गोसाई पतित पावन तुम how patit he can be, Prabhupada? We are so fallen. And nobody can deliver like you have delivered. He has left the comfort of Vrindavan Dham. Most of us are always dreaming that when we can wind up our responsibilities and get some residence in Vrindavan and do our bhajan. But Prabhupada is not just bhajan anandi. There are two types of devotees, bhajan anandi or preachers, or Vaishnavas, Varishta Vaishnavas, or Madhyam Uttam Adhikaris, who are actually Mahabhagavats. They come down on the platform of Madhyam Uttam to preach, solely to preach for the mankind, to save them. So, when Srila Prabhupada, there are so many in the tirthas we find in Haridwar, in Rishikesh, in Vrindavan, in Badrikashram, all those places there are so many sadhus who are simply doing a lot of tapasya and they are self-realized, they are bhajananandis. And at the end when they leave their bodies, they will go home back to God. But better than bhajananandis, Prahlad Maharaj says that Goshti Anandi, the theme in those verses of Prahlad Maharaj's prayers is there. That when Nrsimhadev Bhagavan asked him, take a benediction from me, he said, what is there to take? My father had everything, Hiranya plus Kashipu. Hiranya means gold, money. Kashipu means everything soft. Soft bed, soft nice clothes, association of beautiful women, all comforts. Saw him, you killed him like a little wasp. Tavakara Kamalavarena Kamat Bhuta Shlingam Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tano Bringa. What is there to ask in this material world? I don't want anything. No, please ask. Okay, fine. If you are really insisting, deliver my father. That is not something that you have to ask. It is already done. 21 generations in the past, 21 generations yet to come because you are a devotee. So sometimes devotees ask what to do. My parents are not interested. My brother is not interested. My dear friends are not interested in Krishna consciousness. I'm trying to. Don't break your head over it. Just we should become nice devotees. Automatically they will also, 21 generations will be liberated. From the example of Prahlad Maharaj and Nrsimhadev Bhagavan's promise. So then he finally says, no, that benediction is still there. You have to ask. So he said, okay, give me only two things. First thing he asked is that may no material desires emanate in my heart. What a wonderful prayer. May no, that is why I'm saying that, and I'm telling myself that we should know how to pray. When we are standing in front of the Lordships, when we are standing in front of Srila Prabhupada or our Acharyas, what should be? So many wonderful prayers are there. So may no material desires emanate in my heart. They all never enter my heart. And second thing, my Guru Maharaj, Naradji, is going all over the world preaching and saving souls. My only request is, I do not want my father's kingdom. I do not want anything material. I do not even want to go back to Vaikuntha. Please, I would like to, if you want to give me benediction, please, Narsingadev, let me assist my Guru Maharaj, serve him in spreading Krishna consciousness. And that should be the highest prayer for all of us. Going back to Godhead is not so important, my dear devotees. None of our Acharyas, 6 Goswamis or our Varishta Gaudiya Vaishnava Acharya line, they have said, or they have asked, take me back home, back to God. In fact, Sri Bhaktisiddhanta Swami Prabhupada used to say, don't try to see Krishna perform your service in such a way that whenever Krishna is ready, he will see. Sri Prabhupada used to repeat this message of his Guru Maharaj. So back to God is something Sri Prabhupada is in the beginning days, and later on he continued because constant flow of neophyte devotees came. So that is some kind of a pralovanam, some kind of incentive that if you chant minimum 16 good rounds and follow the 4 regulative principles, you will go home back to Godhead. But his words are right. Krishna will listen. Shadanga Sharanagati Vai Vijar Tar Prarthana Sune Vrajendra Kumar. If one is fully surrendered to Krishna like the Sharanagati, the 6 angas, like mentioned in the Hari Bhakti Vilas, Dainya, Atma Nivedan, Gopti Devaran, Avasya Rakshive Krishna Vishwas Palan, Bhakti Anukul Karya Karajasva, Bhakti Pratikul Bhav Varjanangikar, humility, surrender, everything belongs to Krishna. Atmana, Gopti Devaran, Krishna is my provider. 3rd, 4th, Krishna will always protect me. I have full faith. 5th, performing all activities that are conducive to bhakti. And 6th, whatever activities are not conducive to bhakti, we must reject. So one who has 6 branches of surrender, Krishna must listen to them. So if Prabhupada says, if we chant minimum 16 good rounds and follow the 4 regulative principles, we will go back to God. We will go back to God, but not necessarily back to God. It is a very huge region. 75% of the creation is Vaikuntha Loka, and then further refined into Ayodhya Loka, further into Mathura, Dwarka, and then Golok Vrindavan, which is the topmost planet. He didn't say Golok Vrindavan. Because if we stay on the Vaidhi platform for the rest of our spiritual journey, then at the time of death, we will think about slokas from Bhagavad Gita, we will think about all those pastimes, then we will be certainly transported maximum to Mathura or Dwarka, which is a different Krishna than the Krishna in Golok Vrindavan. There are many types of Krishna. Prabhupada has said that in that purport, I heard that about 30 years ago, in the purport of Dhvaja Hore Mana Sri Nanda Nandana Abhay Charnaravinda. We are, oh my dear mind, he's instructing his mind. Please worship the son of Nanda Maharaj. And Prabhupada immediately says there are many types of Krishna. The Krishna in Mathura is Mathura's Krishna. The Krishna in Dwarka is Dwarkadish Krishna or Vasudeva Krishna. But the Krishna in Vrindavan or in Braj is Yashoda's son. She gave birth to 2 twins, Yogamaya Kanya and also Nandanandan Krishna. When Vasudevi came, Yogamaya covered her brother into darkness. One side he was sleeping, one side she was sleeping. This is given by in Harivamsa Vaishnava Vishwanath Chakravarti. It is mentioned by Rupa Goswami, by Sanatana Goswami. In their commentaries it is there, and Srila Prabhupada also has mentioned that. And when Vasudeva came to exchange, he exchanged because he just saw the Kanya, the little baby girl, and he took her and put her son, Vasudeva Krishna. When he left, Vasudeva Krishna merged into Nandanandan Krishna. And when Akrurji came to take Krishna and Balaram to Mathura at approximately 11 and a half, 12 years old, at that time, Akrur bowed down to Sri Vrindavan Dham before he left. He got down from the chariot. And on the border of Mathura Vrindavan, he bowed down to Vrindavan because he's a devotee. And at that time when he bowed down, Nandanandan Krishna, Yashoda Nandan separated from Vasudeva Krishna. And it is Vasudeva Krishna who went to Mathura along with Lord Balaram and killed Kansa. And even in Vrindavan, our Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has explained specifically that any demons that were killed, they were all killed by Vasudeva Krishna who was within Nandanandan Krishna. Nandanandan Krishna is simply full of love. All he does is Sri Akantaha Kantaha Parama Purusha Kalpataravo Drumi Bruma with Drumi Sri Akantaha Kantaha Parama Purusha Kalpataravo Druma Bhumi Chintamani Ganamai Toyam Amrutam Katha Ganam Natyam Gamana Picha Vamshi Priya Saki. That is our Krishna Vrindavan. Venur Ganantam Varvindam Dalayataksam Bharavatam Samasitam Gunasundarangam. Kandharva Koti Kamaniya Visheshashobham Govindamadi's Purusham Tamam. Much more beautiful than Dwarkadish Krishna or Vasudeva Krishna. That is Govindamadi Purusham Tamam. From whom everything emanates. Janmadi Yasya. It is true. Nandanandan Krishna, Yashodananda, the 15-year, 9-month-year-old Krishna, who is the Govindamadi Purusham, who is Kishore Krishna. He doesn't grow beyond that. Vasudeva Krishna, 125 years. That was his age in his pastimes. But eternally, Kishore Krishna, who is performing your Vinod, Radha Vinod, is almost a 16-year-old boy. And Radharani is Kishori. Only then they can perform Madhurya Rasa. So, all he does is play the flute, tend the cows, speak sweetly, talk sweetly, harasses the gopis. That is his job. In Golok Vrindavan, Nandanandan Krishna, he expands. On the right is Baldev and on the left is Srimati Radharani. Sandini Shakti and Haladini Shakti, and he himself is Samvit Shakti. So it is through Lord Balram that all the material and spiritual creations of avatars, they come from Lord Balram, the Sandini Shakti. Including the two quadruple expansions, Vasudeva, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, Aniruddha. Both sets are there in Mathura and one set in Dwarka. And from the second set in Dwarka, Sankarshan, it is also known as Mul Sankarshan. The three Vishnus and the different avatars, they emanate. But it is Nandanandan Krishna Janmadi Yasya means Rupa Goswami explains that all the beautiful sweet rasas of pastimes, Adaram Maduram Vadanam Maduram Maduradipate Akhilam Maduram. All that sweetness is only found in that Krishna of Vrindavan. So that is what our Gaudiya Vaishnava Acharyas, when we read their prayers, sing their prayers, understand their prayers, our doors open, especially to Vrindavan. So Prabhupada is so kind, he came. Which Acharya can you think of in the history, regardless of Gaudiya or non-Gaudiya, that who will leave Vrindavan after he was Bhajananandi for 10 years, but he said, no, my spiritual master has ordered me. When you are a very, very educated person, please preach this message of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So that's why he begged. Tomavina ke dayalu jagata samsare. Same thing. Mahaprabhu, non-different, his devotees. Same bhav of compassion. Patita pavana hetu tava avatar. He had to leave Vrindavan. Why? Because so many patit people were there. He went, came to New York. He begged before that. 1 month he sat on the footsteps of India Shipping Corporation before he could meet the owner, Mrs. Sumati Murarji. One day she came to know Swamiji because she was a Vaishnavi from the Pushti Marg Sampradaya. Sri Vallabh Sampradaya. Swamiji, where are you from? I'm from Vrindavan. Please come. She told Mr. Choksi, her secretary, give him an appointment tomorrow immediately. And then when he met Mrs. Sumati Murarji, I heard you have so many ships going to America. My Guru Maharaj ordered me to go there to preach to the English-speaking world. Can you give me one small space? He said, no, this is not a cruise liner, this is a cargo ship. Now, no comforts are there, Swamiji. At your age, at this age, I will not permit it. Prabhupada had a nice, sweet exchange. He said, you know, you are a Vaishnavi, the order of the spiritual master. I will not disturb anybody, please. So then finally she understood the intensity of His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. And he made the arrangements and the rest is history. How Srila Prabhupada came to the United States just before docking on Boston Harbor. He writes a poem where he says that how can these people who are in the mode of ignorance and Tamagun and Rajogun will be able to understand Srimad Bhagavatam or Krishna consciousness? If you make me eligible, then my name Bhakti Vedanta will come to fruition. They have given me this title, but I have no knowledge, I have no bhakti. Sign the most, make me dance as you wish you make me dance. Make me dance, make me dance. Sign most insignificant beggar, A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami. Standing under a tree, this is pure compassion. How many sadhus have done that? Simply giving Hare Krishna Mahamantra in a crowded park where they were all smoking, rampant drug addiction, playing their music. They were all trying to find a superior power to make them happy. The hippies were trying to be happy, trying to find God. They were trying to find spirituality. And here is a Swamiji that comes from India, takes one kirtan out, standing under a big tree, chants, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Let our so-called Siksha Gurus, the Bhakti Vriksha leaders, stand under a tree and I want to see how many devotees are being attracted or how many persons are being attracted. Let me try and do it. I don't think I will attract that many people. But because of the pure transcendental sound vibration, they all flocked to him. Whatever they had, bongo, guitar, saxophone, whatever Western instruments were there. Prabhupada didn't even have a mridanga at that time. Just what he had brought, one pair of kirtans, one umbrella, first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, a few translated volumes, and maybe 2 pairs of clothes. That's all he had in his possession. And he chanted the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Attracted, like bees get attracted to a wonderful lotus flower. They did not understand the chant, but they danced and they circled his Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. And slowly and surely, some got even more attracted. Swamiji, where are you from? Are you from India? Yes, I am from India. Professor Howard Miller, he jumped across the street when he saw a saffron robe Swami, because he had been to Haridwar Rishikesh before and he had seen that brahmacharis and sannyasis wear saffron. He lived in the New York traffic, dodging the cars. And he asked Prabhupada. And then, because of the pure vibration, Paramatma is in his Divine Grace's heart and also in the heart of those hippies. They only knew one thing, that he means well. He doesn't want anything from us. We as neophytes, we are always looking. We in book distribution, we call it book distribution, but our attitude is book selling. This is not washing powder, or we are not salesmen selling books. No, we are distributing love. That's the first consciousness we should have. This is for all book distributors. What is the success? No, I'm not just some salesman. I'm your real well-wisher. With that consciousness, we approach somebody. The other day I was asking these questions, the challenges of Krishna consciousness. That was the topic in KR Puram. Out of the 4 kathas that I did, one day that was the topic. So book distributors, the challenges that they don't give us enough time. We stand and they just, keep walking. Some don't even look at us. But do we approach them that like Krishna, we are part and parcels? Mamayam Jiva Loka Jiva Bhuta Sanata. Do we approach them like we are your surud? When we have that feeling in our heart, Paramatma is in that person's heart too. That person who wants to keep walking will stop. Instead of giving you 2 minutes, he will give you 20 minutes. And then when you give them that book, tell them very nicely, I'm sure that will change your life. It has changed my life. And everybody is looking for peace. So many few things you can tell them that we have learned as it is from Bhagavad Gita. Nicely, politely, and then when that person is ready to give you that donation, You take it. Whose child is that? Hare Krishna? Yours? Okay. Keep him in your lap, please. Thank you. What was I saying? Yes. So when that person is giving, the devotee is giving to somebody, that feeling should come. And then just don't give him the book. Keep a small diary in your pocket. This all what I'm saying about the diary and the approach, it only takes hardly 1 minute. Maybe less than that. Here, after he's already given the donation, don't keep walking. Take a little piece of paper. Here's my number. You know, when I read this book initially, there were some questions. And there were some nice devotees who answered them. So I'm here to help you. That person will immediately feel he's not here to grab my 200 rupees and walk on. That complaint comes. I travel all over the world. And that is what one of the impressions is, that Iskcon devotees are very pushy. We have to understand the motive behind it. If we become fanatics, then we are almost committing nam aparadh number 9. Supposing if somebody is completely not interested, let it go. And then how much have we understood Bhagavad Gita? 3rd chapter, Karma Yoga. Do not be attached to the results of your actions. So success or no success, as long as we do it from our heart, success is bound to come. Krishna will make sure we are successful. But sometimes he will give us a lesson. All day, no book, not even one book distributed. Here we are not here to hear the claps in the morning after Mangal Aarti. Such and such a person distributed 50 big books, Maha books, such and such a person distributed. Then we are salesmen. If that's what our pratishtha is for, sorry, I'm giving what I learned from the Varishta Vaishnavas, what I thoroughly, some of the important points. Every individual, yatha karosi, what is that? Yatha ichchasi tatha kuru. Do as you please. Even Arjun was told the same thing. Do as you please. After Krishna spoke the Bhagavad Gita, he didn't put a gun on his head. No, you must fight. You must listen to me. So similarly, be their well-wishers from the start when you approach. My dear Paramatma, you are in their heart too. This is Prabhupada's second generation devotees. In distributing the books of their Guru Maharaj. But Prabhupada's books take a backseat nowadays. So Prabhupada said that. Every temple you open, you would desire. My dear Radha London Ishwar, if you so desire. My dear Radha Paris Ishwar, if you so desire. Let this temple be so nice and many people come and they worship you. Or let this temple be complete, because Prabhupada, when he came, sometimes the temples were not finished. Radha Rasbihari was started a long time ago, Mumbai Jew temple. It was the last to finish. Not that Krishna make this temple nice or finish this temple if you so desire. These are some of the key words. That's why I say, how do we pray? And that is the same thing. Arjun was, Prabhupada gives the example of Arjun before that Brahmastra came and exploded. He offered obeisances and offered stutis to Krishna. Please help me. What should I do? Where did this great effulgence come from? Arjun couldn't even see when the Brahmastra exploded. So he asked Krishna, where did this come from? What is this huge heat and light that is emanating? So prayers are very important. Yes, Hare Krishna Mahamantra is a very, very amazing prayer, but how many of us we realize? I don't have the time. Perhaps, I will be doing that my next stop after Bangalore on the 31st is Bali, Indonesia. So I'll be speaking on a seminar on Chaitanya Shastastakam. But in the meantime, if those are interested only, I have my own website called PureSeva.ca. PureSeva. I'm a servant there. PureSeva dot CA of Canada, not dot. Top there is a tab. Join Bhakti Vedant Bhagavad group. So I'm a servant at Bhakti Vedant Bhagavad group, and everything that I speak wherever I go, it is uploaded and on the website. I've not been able to. There was one devotee was helping me, but unfortunately, and I'm not getting that much time. Last 2 years, lectures have not been uploaded, but some very important seminars. On the very first page, when you open, you will see seminar section. Chaitanya says you can scroll. You will see Guru Ashtakam, Chaitanya Sishtastakam, Damodarashtakam, all those prayers or studies. Several days. Chaitanya Sishtastakam, the one that I have on the website, is 22 sessions, 2.5 hours each, 2 hours each. So you can hear it at your leisure if you are desired to kind of hear what our Acharyas say. I'm speaking it as it is from the commentaries of Jiva Goswami, from the commentaries of Srila Prabhupada, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, from Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's, what Hare Krishna Mahamantra is all about. It is a very deep prayer, but we do not see that in that way. So we are mostly chanting mechanically or with some emotion. But Vaishnava songs are a platter of Shastra brought to us. Prayers. So we should commit to them. So, Ei Bar Karuna Karo Vaishnava Gosai. And not only that, Prabhupada was so amazing. After they got the 26th Avenue, he had this Bhagavad Gita classes Monday, Wednesday, Friday. The devotees, or not even the devotees, the hippies came, they were hungry because they were drunk. They had done some drugs. So those who do that, they feel very hungry. And they knew that at this 22nd Avenue, they are getting free lunch. So they used to come and take, and Prabhupada used to personally make so much dal, rice, roti, sabji, and personally sit or squat on his knees and serve them. My dear boy, my dear girl, you are not eating enough. Take more. Some of them would eat full up to here and simply go away with their girlfriend. Some of them would simply sleep there. There's so much food in their stomach and already they are drunk or they have taken some drugs. Sleep. And Prabhupada would take all the pots, pans and mop and clean up and wash all the pots and pans. That is why we have to pray like this to His Divine Grace. Ei Bar Karuna Karo, please have mercy on me this time. I'm not able to do my sadhana properly. I'm not able to attend all the morning program nicely, but this time, please, my dear Sri Prabhupada, Karuna Karo, Vaishnava Gosai, Pati the Pavana Tuma Vina Kehunai, Jahara Nikati Dele Papa Durejai. Simply, if we have that faith, by coming to Sri Prabhupada's deity, or who have been fortunate to come close to Sri Prabhupada, all our sins are eradicated. Papa Durejai. Or Emana Dayala Prabhu Keba Kotabai, there's nobody as merciful as you, Srila Prabhupada. Gangara Parasha Hoile Paschate Pavan Darshane Pavitra Karo Ei Tumhar Dosh. After taking a bath in the Ganges, one can be perhaps purified by taking a bath in the holy rivers. But merely giving your darshan purifies us. Gangara Parasha Hoile Paschate Pavan Darshane Pavitra Karo. You have such transcendental qualities that simply when you glance to somebody. But then one question can arise, because I have done this before also, that Sri Prabhupada met so many people, he glanced at so many people. Why not everybody became devotees? Even within our Iskcon community, there were so many fall downs, Prabhupada disciples. Why? The answer is given in the next line. Haristane aprade tari harinam, tomastane aprade nahi parita. If we commit some offense to Hari, let's say we are doing some seva as a pujari, our knees touch or legs touch the thali by mistake. Sometimes we put the pradhan on the floor, not on the mat. This is perfect. No, this is perfect. We have to give a seat of, because they are all expansions of Lord Balram. Lot of honor. Every time we touch pradhan, every time kartal or any instrument in kirtan, or even the paraphernalia of a puja, are all expansion of Balram. But by mistake, we touch our legs or we forget to do something properly. then it's okay. Haristane aparade, the offense against Krishna, Tare Harinam. When we chant the holy names, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, that offense is nullified. It is cancelled. But here, Narottam started, Toma stane aparade nahi paritran. So some of the others, some have committed offenses against the divine grace. They will not, of course, they will be eventually. Anybody Prabhupada is glanced, next birth, human birth, and then they will progress towards Krishna consciousness and they will make their life perfect. So because Acharya Satchitananda Dasa is saying that anybody as Prabhupada is glanced, they will become devotees. And we call ourselves Shiksha Guru. Guru word so loosely we use. That is just rascaldom that we have. Or proper understanding is not there. Then he is saying, after Haristane Aparade Tare Harinam Tomastane Aparade Nahi Paritran, there is no recourse. And like we find that in the Srimad Bhagavatam in so many places, Chaitanya Charitamrita, the offense that Amrish Maharaj, Durasa Muni enacted against Amrish Maharaj, the Sudarshan Chakra went. The weapons of the Lord, they always finish their job and come once they are released. And then they are recalled by the mantra. Chest Durrasamuni was a mystic. He went all over the Brahman. Went to Brahmaji, Shivji. Oh, this is Vishnu Sudarshan Chakra, Narayana Sudarshan Chakra. We cannot do anything. It's beyond our control. But I suggest, Lord Madhav said, you go to Vishnu himself and beg for his forgiveness. Perhaps, he said, perhaps it will be stopped. Sudarshan Chakra is coming behind him as he is running. He reaches Vaikuntha region and says, why Imam, please forgive me. You know, this Sudarshan Chakra will kill me. And Sudarshan Chakra was almost, he feels the heat close to his neck. He says, I cannot do anything. Once it is released, it will do its job. And here, especially my weapons, those who have offended my pure devotees, they will not spare. They are even beyond my control. This is what Narayana says. This weapon is beyond my control. Aham bhakta paradhino, he says that. I am the devotee. One who claims to be my devotee directly is not my devotee, but one who is the devotee of our devotee. Gopi Bhartu Pada Kamaleva Dasa. That is the Siddhanta, the principle. You go if you want to stop this. It will be delayed a bit. Sudarshan Chakra will give you the chance. Go and beg for forgiveness from Amrish Maharaj. And when he begged for forgiveness, Sudarshan Chakra came back to Vaikuntha. Jagai Madhai, big offense they committed. You know the pastime. Mahaprabhu ordered the Sudarshan Chakra, Nityananda Prabhu caught his lotus feet. Mahaprabhu, this avatar of yours is Prem avatar. You are not going to carry any weapons. Why are you doing this? No. My weapon will come automatically, regardless. I am so upset. The way they treated Nityananda Prabhu, broke a liquor pot on his head and the blood was oozing, kicked him on the chest. This is going to do its job. And then Lord Nityananda pleaded, and then when they understood Jagai and Madhai, they fell at the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda. And then the Sudarshan Chakra stopped. So we have to be very careful. We should never commit offense against anyone. We don't know amongst us who is going to become a pure devotee in the future. Therefore, we have to be very careful in our dealings with Vaishnavas. Mahaprabhu said, anybody who chants even Hare Krishna in his eyes, that person is a devotee. So we may have many complications, so many differences of opinion, but at the end of the day, when Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur, two devotees were fighting, first thing he said, come here, sit, tell me what good qualities he has. So after some time he would say, he's chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Reluctantly, because that falls in him so much, he hates that person so much. Then he asked that devotee, what do you see? What good quality this devotee has? Slowly and reluctantly, he comes for Mangal Arati every day. So like that, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur makes them each other speak only good qualities. Specifics have been given. Please tell me what good qualities you see in him. Please tell me what good qualities you see in him. That was the method how he resolved problems. And finally they would offer Vancha Kalpataro Vyasya Kripa Sindhu Vachu Patitanam Pavane Vaishnavi, hug each other and say, forgive me. Genuinely forgive me. That is a very good system that we can also incorporate in our lives. Sometimes we cannot get along, it's okay, then keep moving on. No need to get into any arguments. Krishna is there. Krishna gives a chance to everyone. Even though we may commit a very, very sinful activity, he is not going to simply cut our throat immediately. Even Shishupali gave 100 chances. Right? So he is very patient. He is very, very, but even after that, if somebody doesn't, then he's out. Like we see many, many people in administrative roles, if they become Hitlers, because out of pure ego, then Krishna will still give them a chance. But if it goes beyond a certain limit, they are kicked out. We have seen that many places in our Iskcon movement. So somehow or the other, where we are going to be given a particular seva and we become even small leader, we have to be very careful. One time, Sri Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada's disciple, Sri Bhagavad Goswami Maharaj, in Kolkata, Bhagavatam Math. So he became the Acharya in Bhagavatam. And one temple president came running to Maharaj, 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 because he is the Acharya of that Bhagavatam Gaudiya Math. These devotees, these brahmacharis are not listening to me. Why don't you tell them something? He was so upset, visibly angry and everything. So Maharaj had his glasses. If you look at Maharaj's photo, he has glasses. He just simply pulled his glass down. Why do you think that you are temple president? Why don't you think that you are a servant of the servant? And see the difference. Just simply changing that consciousness. He tried it. And then everybody was listening to him. That love has to emanate. Not that, of course, sometimes in administrative post it's very hard to make certain decisions and to run the temple. It's hard, but it can be done in the right way. We can become thunderbolts, but inside we should be roses. We chastise somebody because we have authority, but later on catch him. Please forgive me. Even Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, used to chastise Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and later on he would say, please forgive me. When he picked up that mango, I am your father, it's my duty to chastise you. So with that consciousness, just wishing well, Prabhupada called all these so-called modern scientists who did not believe in God rascals. But that was out of compassion. One Dr. Patel, every day used to come to Jew when Prabhupada was there, morning walk. So Dr. Patel was very, very learned. He knew the Vedas, he knew many, many philosophies, and Bhagavad Gita also, but of course from his perspective of wherever he learned it. So Prabhupada found the opportunity, morning walk. He had many of his disciples after him, and Dr. Patel would ask questions. So one time he asked Prabhupada, Swamiji, in Bhagavad Gita it says Pandita Samadarshina. A pandit or a devotee looks upon everybody equally, but then Swamiji, why you are calling this scientist rascal? Just see what Prabhupada answers. He immediately takes his walking stick and points at all his Western version of Pandita Samadarshina is that we give Krishna consciousness equally to everyone. We don't hold back. Anybody want, that's the beauty of Iskcon. Anybody, whatever your background, please come. Take to this process. And then he says, Tumhara hriday sada Govinda Vishram. In your heart, Krishna or Govinda is residing with a lot of ease. Paramatma, somebody can say Paramatma is in all of our hearts, but not necessarily in my heart, your heart, or everybody's heart. He's at ease. He's doing it out of duty. Just like, example, parents. The child is causing a tantrum. He wants this, wants that. Yeah, although he knows it's not good for him, but the parents then finally say, okay, I sanction it. Okay, do what you want. But it is not the desire of the parent. Supposing the child says, I want to play an extra 1 hour cricket, I will do my homework tomorrow. No, no, but then he starts crying. And finally, the mother says, okay, go, do what you want. That is sanction. But the desire is something different. If the desire of the mother or father has been fulfilled by the child, it will give them pleasure. It will give them anandam. Similarly, Tumhara Hriday, in the heart of the pure Vaishnava, Paramatma is relaxed. Tumhara Hriday Sada Govinda Vishnu. And another meaning of the word Govinda, we all know. What is the meaning of Govinda?
Give pleasure to the senses now.
Okay, these two are the most common meanings. But very easy. Govinda. Go means Gopas. Go means Gopis. Go means Gokul. Along with Go means senses and Go means cows. So one who gives, this is addressed to, the word Govinda is being used because Narottam Das Thakur is in the mood of Raj. So there the word Govind means, he always resides in the hearts of Rajvasis. Tumhara Hriday, Sada, always, Govinda Vishram. By addressing him Govind, he reminds him that yes, Vind means pleasure, and Go means Gopis, Gokul, Gopas, cows, and senses. So you give pleasure, Vinda, to all. But let me remind you, my dear sir, you are in Vrindavan and you give pleasure to the Gopis, etc., and the Gopas. So Tumhara Hriday, Govinda Vishram, Govinda Kohena, Vaishnav more pran. Same two meanings. Govinda said it can be Vaikunta Adipati, Sri Venkateshwara Swami, or Narsinga Swami. But here Govinda also means internal reason, that you always give pleasure to the residents of Raj. Govinda says, the Krishna in Braj says that all of you Vrajvasis are my life and soul. Without you I cannot live. So many wonderful contexts are there in the Shastra. I cannot live without you. Govinda Kahina Vaishnav Purapran. And finally he says, Prati Janme Koriya Sa Charane Radhuri Narottame Karodaya Apnara Boli. Every year, birth after birth after birth after birth, that's my only prayer. I want to receive the dust of your lotus feet. Please have mercy on me. O Vaishnava Acharya, O Vaishnava Gosai. And that is the prayers of Prahlad also in one sense. When he says that I want to assist my Guru Maharaj, who is preaching everywhere to save all souls. And that is what our ultimate prayer or highest prayer should be. I don't care if I go back to God. I only care, my dear Krishna, even if I have to come back million births, I want to be an assistant to His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada, and His sincere followers. So back to God, it is something that Prabhupada had to give encouragement. He didn't say back to Golok. Acharyas' words are very perfect. He chose that language because he knows most of us, if we do not enter Raganuga Bhakti, we will end up in some part of Vaikuntha. Because our consciousness will not be Raganuga Bhakti. Please try to understand. Yam yam vapi smaranam bhave tajati ante kalevaram. Whatever your consciousness at the time of death, so one may be a Vaishnava, but if the consciousness is Vaikuntha, Dwarka, Mathura, one will end up there. But if our consciousness is Vraj, we will end up there. And that only we will end up when the consciousness will develop, when that greed develops, when we enter into the dasha, after Shraddha, Sadhusang, then we come to Bhajan Kriya, Anartha Nivritti. After Anartha Nivritti, real bhakti starts, as per the recommendations. Then Nishtha Ruchi, and that Nishtha and Ruchi, intense greed for Raganuga Bhakti will arise in our hearts. Just that greed will arise, not obtained. That greed will arise, just like a very greedy person has so much greed to obtain a lot of money. Or a robber has a lot of greed to loot. Maximum loot I must get. that greed. It arises in the heart. Then the action comes. Then in the next stage of Ruchi and Asakti, it is revealed to us in our heart what service we have in Golok Vrindavan or in Vrindavan, whether Bhaumya Vrindavan or Golok Vrindavan, non-different. It is revealed. And in the Bhav stage, that revelation becomes full-fledged and we serve in that mood. So Narottam Das Thakur, the author of this bhajan, one time he was contemplating on a seva, which is making some nice bill. So he was sitting in Vrindavan, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. That is the mood of the Acharyas. When we are chanting, many people ask this question. Their mind is going in 1,000 places. How do we control it? So we have to, first of all, to control it, we have to follow in the footsteps of the Acharyas or the recommendations. Dharmasva tattva nihitam goyam mahajana jena gata. The secrets of religion is very secretive. Only when we follow in the footsteps of the Mahajans or the great Vaishnavas, we can understand. So when they are chanting, the process is not only hearing our chant, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Not too loud, not too soft. Okay? At least audible to ourselves. Therefore, we won't disturb anybody else. Because somebody may have faith, don't have faith. We have seen some fanatical devotees, they chant and they advertise that, oh, I start chanting at 4 a.m. in the morning. I'm sitting in my backyard, one devotee in Toronto. So his wife said, see my husband. He's disturbing all the neighbors. He's disturbing me. Chanting means he can even chant softly. But he yells, Hare Krishna at 4 a.m. in the morning. That is fanaticism. It is more or less like in the Hindi that what we say, Naya mullah jada hi karta hai Allah Allah. Somebody has become a new mullah. He says, Allah, Allah, Allah. So we are not fanatics. This is a very good spiritual science. So when we chant, how to prevent that? We also we are seeking the blessings that we imbibe in whatever we are speaking. We absorb. But think, not only audibly chant, but think of some nice Krishna Leela. Get absorbed in that Leela. Think of some nice seva that you would like to do. Think of some verse that you like, etc. Minimum 16 good rounds will finish like this. When you will finish 32, you will not realize. And possibly even 64. You won't feel like giving up. It is as if the holy name has caught you. And we will take that bhajan tomorrow from Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur about the strength of the holy name. How beautiful the holy name is. So don't miss tomorrow's session. So ultimately he is saying this. Pratijanme kori asa charan and Dhuni doesn't say Pratijanme or after this I don't want to come back. Here birth after birth. So that is our mood. Our real mood is let us serve His divine grace and His sincere followers birth after birth. And if Radharani and Krishna decide, fine, we want to really in person see you. Come back to Golok Vrindavan. That's a different story. Then we take permission from Srila Prabhupada. Krishna, even Radharani is saying, but we take permission from them. And Prabhupada will say to Rupa Manjari, can he come back and join Seva there? Rupa Manjari say, yes, of course. Our Pran Sakhi Radharani has said that. Of course, please welcome. Come, Bam. Then again, if we are in the same mood of Srila Prabhupada, Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale. When Krishna and Radharani says, now go, assist this divine grace, or go. Just like many brahmacharis and devotees are told, go open your own center, expand. So many, this is what, an expansion of Seshadipuram, this temple? Or this is itself is independent and there are so many units, right? Expand. So if Krishna says, then we say, oh no, it's so comfortable here. Katha Ganam Toyam Amrutam. This place, this water is nectar. And in New York's 26th 2nd Avenue, that water is garbage. But no complaints. We will go. Prabhupada says, you want me to go, I will go. That is Anya Vilasana Shunya Jnana Karmanavritam Anukulena Krishna Anushritam Tad Bhakti Ruttam. Narad Bhakti Sutra. Naradji was asked by somebody that, tell me very briefly what is Uttam Bhakti. And later on Rupa Goswami adopted that also. in his books. Anya Abhilasha, we should not have any desire for any material thing, zero. Not even for Jnana and Karma. Jnana and Karma, until that point, until we come to the platform of Bhakti. Once we come to the platform of Bhakti, Jnana Karma Anavritam. And then what the negative things have come out, then what is the positive thing? Anukulina Krishna Anushilanam. Whatever Krishna desires, we should do. But who knows what Krishna desires? Shakshat Haritvena Samasta Sastre. They know. Nikunja Yuno Ratigili Siddhya. They know what Krishna desires. Not that nowadays we call, I don't know what is the right word in Hindi. Solyat ka dharma. Meaning, whatever our convenience is, we adopt that and do the minimum by applying the principles of Vaidhi Bhakti. So, whatever we like, we offer Krishna. And we put a tulsi leaf. It's like somebody's house, we go, and yesterday only we went to one devotee's house for prasadam. So, the first thing that Mataji served is brinjal. So then my wife said, my Prabhuji and I, we don't like brinjal. So she said, no problem. So she's brought some other foodstuffs that she had already prepared. But imagine you going to somebody's house and you don't like brinjal at all. And what they serve you? First thing, 5 kinds of brinjal sabjis. Brinjal pakoda, brinjal in the dal. And then you are forced to eat it out of love or affection because they called you. Slowly, slowly you will finish. And then they will ask you, how is it? Very nice. See, you have to say something good. Okay, then have more. So, the person is getting choked. Similarly, our Krishna, or His Holiness, Radha Govind Maharaj used to say, and even he still says, pizza, pasta, narakka rasta. Krishna doesn't need that. What does he eat? How do we know? That was the point right now. How do we know Anukulina Krishna Vishinanam? Tad Bhakti Ruttam. What is Uttam Bhakti? And I'm also guilty of it. Don't think that I don't eat pizza pasta. I do occasionally eat it. I am also a conditioned soul. So, but the point is that Siddhant has to be understood. So what is Anukul? Shri Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Vajavakata Vatsala Shri Gaura Hari. So in that entire bhajan, so many wonderful items that Gaur Hari, that Krishna likes, is there. That's what we should offer, and we should take prasadam of what he likes. Not he should take what we like. That is forced to take because that tulsi leaf is there. That tulsi leaf is like that affection that our host is showing. Please, Prabhu, please take more. Take more, take more. And then you cannot say no. Krishna cannot say no. That's why the songs of the Acharyas, so many Bhoga Artis are there, even in many different Vaishnava Sampradayas, that really show even Sri Vallabh Sampradaya, pure devotion to Krishna in Vatsalya Ras, and even in Madhuri Ras, about 5% in Sri Vallabhaja Sampradaya. I happen to be from that Sampradaya originally, before I came to Iskcon. So, but Madhuri Ras is there, but only maybe in 5%, 95% is Vatsalya Ras. Srinathji, the one who lifted Giriraj Govardhan. So elaborate bhajans are there, written by the 8 principal disciples of Sri Vallabhacharya in Raj Bhasha. Right from the morning, that is called Kalopad, breakfast, or Mangal Bhog. Kalo Kale Urkana, Makhan Misri Roti Lai. I've brought some nice Makhan Misri and Roti. That is his breakfast. That is Adhyat Leela. So many. Out of the 8 principal sakhas, there are also sakhis. Simultaneously present as sakhas and sakhis. Krishna, it is up to him. How much he loves a particular affection of a devotee, he can be present in more than one rasa. Like Lord Balram is present in all 5 rasas. So some Gaudiya Math devotees, they say that your Swami Maharaj, they call him Swami Maharaj, they don't even call him Prabhupada. Because that was his initiated sannyas name. When he took sannyas from his senior godbrother, Srila Prakti Pragyan Keshav Maharaj Ji, he initiated 2. One was an older personality, Muni Maharaj, that was his name. And our Srila Prabhupada, sitting to the right of Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Maharaj, if you have remembered that photo, if you have seen one personality with round rim glasses is sitting, and two, our Srila Prabhupada and Muni Maharaj. And our Srila Prabhupada's name was very simple, Swami Maharaj. Like somebody's name is Jayapataka Swami, somebody's name is Radhanath Swami, Bhaktichara Swami. After sannyas, his name was Swami Maharaj. Most of us don't know. That is why we should read. First book we should read is Prabhupada Leela Amrit, or simultaneously with some other book. When I was in United States about 37 years ago, 38 years ago, I had actually stopped going to any temples. Because when I was in the Gulf prior to that, I had some good association in one sense, we can say gentlemanly people. Muslim, they were very well placed in the government. They were actually commanders in the Air Force and all that. So somehow or the other, I came in touch with them due to the business reason. And they used to invite me to their house. And we had some other discussions besides business. And they served us very nice. And they knew I was pure vegetarian because I followed the four regulatives. Principles was there from our birth, being in the Vallabh Sampradaya. So when first time they brought something, I didn't even take water. But then they kept inviting me on Fridays, which is the day off. And we also played cricket. They had an affinity for me, and I liked them because they were very good people, generally good at heart. They didn't have that malice in their heart. Highly educated. They actually came to the United States to learn how to fly F-15, F-16 aircraft. Those were the pilots and then their commander and sub-commanders. So all of us are sitting and they're all in the huge mansions, very rich. And actually they are from Pakistan. You will not believe that. Because at that time the entire Air Force of UAE they hired those pilots and those commanders from Pakistan. Because the local Arabs, they had no idea, no ABCs of how to fly an aircraft. So I used to go and then they used to ask me some questions about Hindu Dharma. And I was not in Iskcon at that time. And although in a Vallabh Vaishnava community, Pustimat, I couldn't answer most of the questions myself. There was no preaching. My grandmother, she was such a great, great Vaishnavi soul, a Mahabhagavati, which I could only realize after coming to Iskcon in my maturity, if I may say so, whatever level of maturity I may have reached at that time. So, they would ask me, my surname is Desai. So they would say, Desai ji, with a lot of respect. Why you Hindus have so many gods? And then, in our in Islam, we don't have, we have only one God. La ilaha illallah. Only one. And you all have so many, and then you all do Murti Puja. So in Islam, we don't have that. Maybe you can explain that if you don't feel offended. So what answer can I give? Because I had no answer at that time. So I gave some mambo jumbo answer. It is like giving respect to your varishta people at home, like grandfather, grandmother. If you are doing something wrong, you will not do it in front of them. Let's say if you have a bad habit of smoking, you will not smoke. Or you are drinking, you will not do it in front of your father, mother. So when you come to the temple, when you say, here is Krishna, here is Ganeshji, here is Durga Devi, some superior power. So, we will be inspired to do everything right in our life. That is the understanding in my head. I was confused what to answer. I didn't know, but this is what at that time I answered them. But personally, I was not satisfied, and they were also not satisfied, but they didn't say anything. Then he said one thing after my answer, very interesting. That look, Desaiji, do you agree that you all call him Bhagwan? We call him Allah. Do you agree that your Bhagwan is perfect? I said, of course. I think in all religions they think that their own God is perfect. And I also think that it's a no-brainer. So then let me ask you something. Now this is the big bomb that he throws. They are pilots. So the bomb he threw is saying that, look, again, please don't feel bad, he said. And because they were watching all these Bollywood movies, at that time those VHS tapes were there. So anytime the new movie is released, the first they would release in Dubai, even before India. Somehow or the other, I don't know how, but it happened. So they learned all these things, seeing that the hero is praying, going to the temple and praying to the Murti of Shivji or Krishna or whoever. So that's how that question that wanted to clarify. Hopefully they would get the answer from me. So he said, look, In Islam, we believe that God is perfect. Now, you also believe that your Bhagavan is perfect. Then let me ask you something. If Bhagavan is perfect, in the temple, if that marble deity that you have, or in the house you may have a photo, somebody has made that drawing or that picture or the sculptor sculpt that out. I said yes. Now, do you agree that there will be somebody else who is better than that artist who has made this deity or made that painting of Radha Krishna as an example? I said yes. He said that 5 times. Do you think somebody is better than that? That somebody is better than that person? Somebody is better. So that means all these persons, they are not perfect. And even the best the artist is not so perfect. But we understand that Allah is perfect. And you agree that God is perfect or Bhagavan is perfect. Then how can imperfect people create the perfect image or the murti? Just see, this is like amazing, no? After studying Bhagavad Gita, I was thinking of those sentences, just like how Arjun is putting the debate, I don't want to fight. All those better on the blood of my family. I don't want to fight with my guru and my grandsire, Bhishma Dev. All these women will become widows, etc., etc. Varna Shankara. All those arguments are there. But that sounded so logical, right? If this question is asked to us, what will we answer? So I was lost, and I said the same thing that's repeated. And these are like representations of goodness. So we won't do anything wrong, and we keep coming to the temple. Then our attitude will change, and bad things will go away in our life. Not satisfied, neither me nor him. So, believe it or not, whenever I went to any Hindu temple at that time, I never bowed down. All I saw was photo or paper or some painting, or I saw marble or wood. I stopped bowing down completely. That thing was playing so badly in my head. Mostly stopped even going to temples. But I was very dear to my grandmother. My birthday, she never forgets. And always on the phone we talk. So she said, today is your birthday, beta. Go to the temple. Do you have any temple close by? I said, yeah, 5 minutes, Iskcon. Temple is very close to my house. Then you should go. Okay, grandma, I'll go. So I told my nanny, I'll go. I went. And there, 12 o'clock, Rajbhag Arti, one pujari was there, nobody, whole hall empty. And just remembering my grandmother's words, I didn't even go down on my knees or hands. Because that concept was never there. Most of the people who have no concept, they come and stand like this. Most of them, unless somebody has some issues with their health. Like we are in front of Gandhiji and Nehruji's murti. They also think this is also some murti. Some so arrogant, big business people, they come and put their hands behind, and as if they are in a museum. They see the deities. They don't even have that much strength or that much intelligence to fold their hands.